Hi, this is Christy. Let's do a word problem together. I will be referring to the Solving Math Word Problems checklist. Hopefully by this point things are starting to become familiar to you. Maybe you've even memorized some of the steps. Step number 1, understand the problem. Read and reread the problem. Freddie walked 8 3/4 miles in 2.5 hours. What was Freddie's average rate of speed? Now this time as I read it, I will underline any important numbers or units. Freddie walked 8 3/4 miles, that's important, in 2.5 hours. What was Freddie's average rate of speed? Average rate of speed just sounds important to me, so I'm just going to give it a squiggle line like that. Now, visualize or draw it. This is a fairly straightforward problem, so you might not feel the need to, but let's just do it anyway. Let's see, maybe Freddie left his house, and perhaps he was walking, maybe down Straight Street, from point A to point B. Maybe point A was his house, maybe point B is Bellevue College, who knows. But the distance is important. He walked 8 3/4 miles. How long did it take him? It took him 2.5 hours. And there's really not much more to the problem. Look up unknown words. I don't have any. The only thing that you might make a note of is rate. We've talked a little bit about rate so far. In fact, there are several different kinds of rate. Let's just go ahead and write some of those down. You can have speed. Speed is a rate. You can have pay, dollars per hour. You can have mileage, miles per hour. And another one that we've talked about is beats per minute. Maybe a nurse would use that if she needs to take someone's heartbeat or heart rate. So these are types of rate. And I can tell from looking that today we're talking about rate of speed. There we go. Just highlight that one. Okay. Determine what the question is asking us to find. The question is asking us to find Freddie's average rate of speed. Identify required, extra, or missing information. I think we have everything that we need. We have distance and we have time, so we can figure out the rate. Step number 2, make a plan to solve the problem, come up with a strategy, and estimate the answer. Speed is always expressed in distance by time. And sometimes distance can be measured in miles, it could be kilometers. In this case, it happens to be miles. And time, again, it could be seconds, it could be hours, it could be days. In this case, it happens to be hours. Do you notice anything special about miles over hours? Miles per hour? That is how we express speed and mileage. Miles per hour. So we actually have it the right way. If you had hours on top and miles on the bottom, that wouldn't sound right. Hours per mile. But miles per hour is how we're used to hearing it. So my plan is going to be simple. I'm going to put the miles on the top. I'm going to put the hours on the bottom. So let's get a quick estimate before we begin our solving. Miles, I have 8 3/4. I'll just take the whole number, 8. Hours, again, just take the whole number, 2. My estimate is going to be about 4 miles per hour. I think that Freddie's average rate of speed is 4 miles per hour. That's 8 miles divided by 2 hours. Back to our checklist. Step 3, solve the problem. Write out all work neatly, make several attempts to solve the problem, don't give up, and double check your math. Now, this is going to be simple. Again, the plan tells me to put the number of miles, which will be 8 3/4, and then to put the number of hours, which will be 2 1/2. So let's do that. 8 3/4 miles, that's the distance, and the time that it took was 2 1/2 hours. Now you might be thinking this looks a little confusing. You've got a fraction on the top here and a fraction on the bottom. There's several different ways that you could solve this. Oftentimes in math there's more than one way to solve it. I am going to make it a little bit easier for myself. I'm going to turn these fractions into equivalent decimals. Think back a few modules, we talked about that. 3/4 is equivalent to 0.75. Now what if you had not memorized that yet? That 3/4 was equivalent to 0.75? Let me just show you a quick trick. I'm sure you can see it. Okay. Remember, you can use the top number, and that's a divided by bar, and then put the bottom number. You're going to type in 3 divided by 4. 3 divided by 4 equals, can you see it there? 0.75. All right. So 8.75 miles divided by 2 1/2. What is the decimal equivalent of a half? Hopefully you've got that one memorized. That is 0.5. Well, we're almost done, and that was fast. Now you take your calculator and you push 8.75 divided by 2.5. .75 divided by 2.5 equals, or enter, 3.5. I'm going to move it down here just to give us more room to talk about it. 3.5 miles per hour. And you can also write it like this, 3.5 miles per hour. So double check our math. Let's do it again. 8.75 divided by 2.5. We'll do it in the calculator again. 8.75 divided by 2.5, enter. There it is again, 3.5. If we get the same answer twice, you can pretty much be assured that we're right. So we've checked our math. Now, step number 4, reflect on the problem. Did you answer the question, and is your answer close to the estimate? The question asked us, what was Freddie's average rate of speed? Miles per hour. And that's what we came up with down here, 3.5 miles per hour. Look back at our estimate now. We did a quick estimate that was 4 miles per hour. Is 3.5 close to 4? Yes, it is very close. So our estimate is on track. Good job.